What we're going to do right now is actually take a look at presentations. Document, it's sort of gone through with the other videos. It pretty much shows you a page and you start typing and you format based on the format bar that's there. Presentation has a few little changes, and so I'm going to go through some of the presentation stuff because it is slightly different from Microsoft Office. So when you click on a new one, what will happen is it will actually open up in a new tab. Again, remember, this is done on the web, so as I'm working, it's going to save every few seconds. You can see here saved seconds ago. So now it starts out with a blank one, and as I've talked about with a few classes here at the school, something I think you should encourage is that a presentation is just that. It's the student being the center, and they are presenting information and their concepts to the rest of the class, and so you really want to try and have them focus on having a presentation that keeps people involved, or at least paying attention to them. And one of the best ways to do that is to try and cut back on the text that they put on here. So let's pretend that little Sally's doing a presentation on apples. So it's very basic. Students will probably want to make it, make some changes, make it a little bit more colorful or whatnot, and you can do that if you go up to the Format tab, Presentation Settings. They can change the theme. There's not as many as what you'd find on Office, but there's enough. I'm going to go with Gradient Black, and this theme will then be on every single slide. For a new slide, there's a few different ways. I find the easiest way is just up here, click on the plus. It will automatically pop up what type of slide layout do you want. And what I will often pick would be one with the text. And so, for example, maybe they're going to write about healthy benefits. Okay? And so in here there's content. But if you remember, I talked about, well, let's try and get students to be doing the presentation, and perhaps that means adding more images and less text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in there and then move my mouse over this box, click on it, and press delete. And now that's gone. And so now what I'm going to do is I want to have some images. So I'm going to move over to this other web browser. I have two open here, and we're going to do a little search for healthy. And when you look through the search here, there's a whole bunch of different pictures. Here's one of somebody eating an apple, and here's another one. So perhaps I'll click on that, and within this we can go to the full-size image here, and I can actually drag that across to my presentation, and it will automatically import the image into the presentation. Now we're on the presentation, and it's a little large, so they can drag to make it slightly smaller. Okay. And some other things that can be done here. Again, when I've clicked on the picture, it gets this border. If I right-click on the border, I can do things such as center on the slide. Okay, so now it's in the center. I can right-click. I can add a reveal to it. So that means when I click to the page, there'll be nothing on it. And when I'm doing the presentation, it will appear. So now I've got healthy benefits, and it's got a picture. And I've got this straight off the net, so maybe something that you would like to encourage with your students, which I think you should, have them go back to where they got the web the picture from, and copy the web address and actually put in, I'm going to paste, the actual address. It doesn't need to be that big, so I'll highlight it, and again, I can make it quite tiny. I can make the font a little bit different if you'd like. And I'm just going to have this little link down here, and then I'm just giving credit where credit is due. I've taken this from here. Another way to do it is perhaps have a last page, and they just simply label healthy benefits picture lady eating apple, and they put that there. I think it's good to have our students crediting their sources where they have it. So anyways, here we are on our thing. We want a new slide. I'll click plus again, and add another slide. So healthy benefits, let's say beauty regimes. And maybe here there is going to be a comment. They're going to talk about that type of stuff. And if we go back to our Google site here on the other browser, perhaps they do a little search for healthy skin. And within that, they could put another picture. Oh my gosh, we've got another picture with a woman with an apple. So I click and drag it over. And I can move it around a little bit. And now they can talk about how apples promote glowing skin and healthy bodies. Again, I'd probably copy the web address and I would paste it in here. So put in a text box. It's over top of the other one. I'll move it down. Again, I'll change the font size to quite a bit smaller. And I'll maybe just put it right down here. Okay, so now that's the basics of changing a theme, bringing in pictures quite easily off the net. You obviously can insert pictures just by clicking the insert image if you already have pictures downloaded. You can quickly insert videos, so if there's a YouTube video about the health benefits of apples, we can insert that video. And here it will talk about apples. So this is actually searched Google for things related to apples. It sort of took that from the title that we have. And so maybe it's this one here we want to select and put in. You could do a different video if you'd like, obviously. Again, I can click on the border and center it if I'd like, both horizontally and vertically, and now it's perfectly in the center. So when I go to do the presentation, which I'll show you in a minute, this video will play. Obviously this means that you need to have an internet connection because it has to connect to the internet. So how do kids remember what they're going to say as they're working on their stuff? Well, this has a notes section just like anything else. So down here you see the View Speaker Notes. If I click, I am able to write all my notes right here. So students are able to put their notes in there and they'll have it. Now you may have noticed as I'm doing this that this is saving all as I'm doing it. So just a few seconds ago it just saved. It's got everything in there. I don't really need to stress about that saving point. Obviously I'll take a look to make sure that this is light gray so that it has been saved. Looking at actually having the presentation get played. It's quite simple. I am on my document that's a presentation and I click on Start Presentation. And now, as I click, remember I put a fade on that? Up comes everything. I'm going to click here. Here's my Apple Dance Store. It'll load for a second and then start playing. And so apples have many benefits at the Apple Store. People dance and they have fun, etc., etc. That's presentations in a nutshell.